Hey guys, I'm sorry about that. It turned off part two of opening part. Wait, part two. Opening night, magic flute at the Met. Magic flute part two. Opening night at the Met. In my dressing room. In my dressing room. There you go. So, for those of you who were watching and then got disconnected, it was only an hour and then it's supposed to be an hour and a half. But, I understand because of we'll see if people jump in and such. Let's. So, we're now in technically Act Two, but there's no intermission. So, it's all good. Do we have any viewers? No, not yet. It's fine. Anyway, so I was doing this. I'm gonna show this again. Episode 7. All right. So they just called me, which means there's gonna be a. Oh my god, I'm so tired already. I think because of all the movement. I'll be right back, okay? Enjoy this movie or whatnot. Bye.
Well, hello there. I'm Mozart. Was born in Salzburg all the way back in 1756. Musical prodigy, don't you know? Daddy took me all the way around Europe. Literally met all the crazy celebs. King George in London, King Louis in Versailles. But at some point I was like, where's all the purpose and meaning in my life? So here's a little bitty cassette I compiled with all the life lessons I learned and turned into an opera. Yeah, and don't forget, it's all about mindfulness. Vienna, 1791. The beating heart of the Habsburg Empire. In this city of enlightenment, there ain't no shortage of high-class music and theatre. But for those who don't do serious opera, there's always Emanuel Schikaneder's suburban playhouse. It's staffed by a bunch of co-working hippies who write, compose, produce and perform in each other's productions. Now Mozart needs some dosh, and Schikaneder, an old Salzburg friend, is keen to throw him a financial lifeline. Schikaneder's going to write a story to which Mozart will compose the music. But it's not an opera, it's a Singspiel, basically musical theatre with lots of magic, comedy and goodies versus baddies. Lowbrow fairy tales for your average Joe or Franz. Even better, ordinary people might understand it for once, because a Singspiel includes both singing and speaking bits. For story and characters, Schikaneder samples, cuts and splices a mishmash of random books and plays. And bingo! The Magic Flute premieres at his theatre in September 1791. Mozart conducts it to great acclaim but dies only 2 months later, aged just 35. It begins with handsome Prince Tamino being chased by a crazy snake. As it's about to bite, Tamino faints and 3 ladies rock up to kill the serpent. They argue over who gets to stay with the unconscious Tamino, who they all think's a real hottie. Unable to agree, they run off to gossip to their boss, the Queen of the Night. Tamino awakes and spots Papageno, the merry birdcatcher. Schikaneder modelled this half-witted everyman on Hanswurst, a comic character popularly found in 18th century German theatre. Who better than Schikaneder himself, a comic actor, to play Papageno? But because Schikaneder was an amateur singer, Mozart knew he'd need to keep Papageno's melodies simple. So in a typical Singspiel ditty, Papageno sings repeated rhythms with the notes moving in small steps. He sings of his simple desires, food, drink, and most of all, a girlfriend. When he tells Tamino that he killed the serpent with his own bare hands, the 3 ladies reappear and padlock his mouth as a lesson not to lie. The ladies then give Tamino a portrait of the Queen of the Night's beautiful daughter, Pamina. Phew, I just want to press this woman against my breast, possess her forever. Enter the flamboyant Queen of the Night. Whoa, someone's in a mood today. She addresses Tamino in the form of a recitative. Usually found in Baroque opera, a recitative is when the singer interprets freely the rhythm of the words backed by a harpsichord. But Mozart upgrades the recitative by underscoring the Queen's emotional distress with the full might of the orchestra. For her daughter, Pamina's been taken from her. In a slow and melancholic aria, the despairing queen explains that the evil high priest of the sun, Zarastro, abducted her. The music's in G minor, a key long associated with grief. But then a change of heart. The key turns major, for the queen's now got a brainwave. If Tamino can rescue Pamina, she will permit them to marry. Mozart tailored the Queen of the Night's vocal part to the distinctive voice of Josepha Hoffa. She was Mozart's sister-in-law and she debuted the role. Hoffa was an extremely capable singer, so Mozart stretched the soprano voice as never before. He required her to sing with coloratura, a flurry of virtuosic effects. These included ferocious vocal runs up and down scales and arpeggios, wide leaps between notes, and elaborate ornaments called trills. The ladies reappear and send Tamino on his quest for Pamina with the aid of a magic flute that changes sorrow to joy. They free Papageno's padlock with the warning not to lie. Papageno's instructed to go with Tamino and gifted a set of magic bells. Their farewell is emphasized by pizzicato strings and sombre clarinets. In 1791, this must have sounded rather odd, because clarinets had only just been invented. The action moves to Zarastro's palace. Papageno, whom Tamino has sent ahead, bursts into Pamina's room. He tells her that her mother, the queen, has sent a prince called Tamino to save her. Tamino's in love with her, and Pamina's delighted to hear it. But when Papageno complains that he's got no girl, Pamina friend-zones him with sympathy. Meanwhile, outside the temple, 3 child spirits are guiding Tamino with some words of advice. You'll only rescue Pamina if you're patient, wise, and persistent. 3 doors lead to 3 different temples of wisdom, reason, and nature. Tamino knocks on all 3 doors. An old priest answers and warns Tamino to drop the attitude. He must enter the temple in a spirit of friendship to see what a great guy Zarastro really is. It's the Queen of the Night who's the baddie in this tale. Nuh-uh, thinks Tamino. He's still intent on rescuing Pamina from Zarastro and toots his magic flute. Papageno and Pamina make their escape following the sound of the flute, but they're captured by Monostatos, Zarastro's despicable henchman. No worries. Papageno whips out his magic bells and the beauty of their sound sends Monostatos into a trance. But it's ultimately to no avail, because Zarastro himself has just turned up to the party. Papageno's terrified by the magisterial high priest. Pamina says they should just simply fess up. Falling to Zarastro's feet, she begs for mercy. And Zarastro forgives her. He abducted her only out of kindness, to distance her from the destructive influence of her evil mother. He would happily free her, but only so long as she is guided by a man. And look who it is! Monostatos has just turned up with Tamino. The lovers, Tamino and Pamina, meet for the first time and embrace. But not before Zarastro's priests separate them, for they declare that Tamino must demonstrate his virtuousness by completing a series of trials. Only then will he be worthy of Pamina. The priests pray for the couple to embrace their high ideals, that they unite as mortals elevated into gods, the gods Isis and Osiris. Oh, and Papageno, the good news is that we can find you a wife too. The bad news? Well, you've also got to undertake these ordeals. The first trial, an oath of silence. The 3 lady servants of the Queen of the Night reappear to flirt with Tamino. But Tamino respects his oath of silence. He plays all hard to get, and so the ladies give up. Next, an old woman enters, offering a thirsty Papageno some water. But Papageno's not so restrained as the handsome prince. He asks the old woman if she's got a boyfriend. Yes, she does. And he's called, Papageno. That's right. Marry me right now, Papageno, or you'll be doomed to a forever loveless existence. All he's ever wanted is a girlfriend, so Papageno reluctantly agrees, at which point the old woman transforms into a beautiful young woman called Papagena. Zarastro's priests arrive to separate them, for Papageno has not upheld his oath of silence. Elsewhere in Zarastro's palace, Monostatos is watching over a sleeping Pamina. As he attempts to steal a kiss, the Queen of the Night breaks into the room and shoos him away. Pamina awakes and confesses that Tamino's joining Zarastro.
If you're on YouTube, I'm going to go sign off now because suddenly we are having connectivity problems. So thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.